And we should be live. Okay. Welcome everyone. Today I'm trying a new format, which is basically me trying to do my own article. Please tell me if you can hear me, if you can hear the audio in background, and then we can just start. How is it going? Let's try. So I've prepared this setup, and I hope that this will work. See what I have here. This is git bash. So I have everything clear. Also show the GitHub repository. I can also send the link. It should be this one. It should be this. Yeah. Let me show here. Perfect. Okay. So, what's the idea today? The idea is to follow this article that I published this morning, and so let's see if we can start. Maybe just wait another couple of minutes. By the way, this article has been published on Hashnode. It's a step-by-step guide. Usually I like this kind of articles because you can glue different technologies. There is an introduction here. We will read it from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, so also to see this, if I can fix some typos, let's see. Node.js development setup. How to set up your Node.js development environment with Typescript, Nodemon, and Docker. This is the link of this own live stream, Inception. We'll see how to set up development environment for a Node.js application. So we will use Node.js, which is a JavaScript runtime engine. It's basically something to run JavaScript, and we have this on our machine, and of course we'll have this in the Docker image. Express, which is a Node.js framework to create backend applications. Then Nodemon, which is basically a library which allows you to hot reload your project. It's useful in development. And also Typescript, which is a superset of JavaScript, so you can write TypeScript code that then compiles it into JavaScript code. And of course, the whale. Okay. Tell me if you can hear me, if everything looks fine, so I can start. I'm starting from scratch, so from zero, so I'll follow my own article. Here is a little introduction of each technology. So Node, Express, I'll copy some of them from their websites. Nodemon, TypeScript, and of course Docker. Here this is my very first video on Docker, and then we will start with a step-by-step guide. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm super relaxed today. And by the way, we have moved the live on Stefan Natter on Wednesday on his channel, so we will let you know on when this is gonna happen. But today I'm alone. Let's see. I'd like to wait a couple of minutes. I hope this goes well. Maybe it's better to make articles of other people, because if you made your own article, and also if you, for example, if you want to do this with me, I think this is the best way, because I'm here, you can ask me questions, I'll go as slow as I can, so we can understand everyone what's going on here. Let's see if I made some typos here. Node is a backend JavaScript runtime environment, which means briefly you can execute JavaScript code on a computer. So you can execute JavaScript code on the machine when Node is installed. Yeah, and this is true. With Docker, you don't actually need to install it. That's good. You can switch versions of Node, of course. Express is the JavaScript framework, Node framework that we are gonna use. Let's see. We will try something super simple. We are not gonna make crude REST API today. We will write just one file. Maybe we'll need some adjustment on the Nodemon to watch the entire folders, but for today it's enough. And also blurry thumbnail. What do you mean, Farouk? Can you see? So we will use Nodemon and also Typescript, which is a programming language developed by Microsoft, is a superset of JavaScript and adds functionalities, basically types. And of course, it's designed to large application, instance compiles to JavaScript. And then Docker. Docker is a platform to develop your application in a very good way. Let's see. I think we are gonna start just a couple of minutes. Okay. So, let's start. Start from the beginning. I like to make these articles as a step-by-step. So, even create directories, everything like that. So, let's try from here. So, I am inside a folder on my machine. Let's try. I'll copy this command. Okay. Because it exists, right. So, because I have already this. Okay, let's try here. Okay, so I've created the directory, and now I've gone inside it. Then I think I'll create the project. For example, here I have not written here. I should add this part maybe. Tell me if you can see, if you want this a little bit bigger. Can you see? Okay. I hope yes. Okay, so I should add here to add the VS Code. So let's go. With this command, we initialize a node project. And you see that here now we have a package.json. Let's try to follow. Let's see if you can get this done. What is this? Share on Reddit. So we have installed Express here. This is the only dependency that we have, and we have these dev dependencies. So let's see. Can you hear the music in the background? Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we need to change just a little bit the package.json because we are gonna add TypeScript. So we are gonna change this inside the package.json like this. Please notice that we will use these scripts in the code and also in the Docker file. Okay, yeah, and we should have this package.json. Let's see. Looks fine. Looks fine. Okay, then we can create a tsconfig.json and modify it accordingly maybe to your needs. So let's create a tsconfig. This is the configuration for Typescript. And so let's copy. This is handy. Basically, this is a configuration for the Typescript compile. And then we also have this Nodemon.json. Okay, and this is a configuration to use Nodemon. Nodemon, you don't need to have this file, but here you can make your own configuration, of course. If you are practicing with Nodemon, this should sound familiar. And then let's create our very simple application in Express. So, it is from command line. So let's try to make it from here. Okay. Okay, so we have this source file. Let's see. And then inside the source file, we create the index.ts file. Nice. Let's see if it looks similar. Perfect. Okay. Okay, now in this index.ts file, we create our Express application. Okay, so we are using Typescript. We have just an endpoint on the slash, which says hello world. So it's kind of sad, but nice. So now from here, it says to do npm start. Let's see, localhost. Looks fine. Looks fine. Okay. Yeah, we could have run this. Let me show here. But npm start is fine. Okay. Okay, so from now everything looks fine. Now let's try to add Nodemon to our application. We are not using Docker for now. So let's clear and let's try this. Let's see if something's changed, because you can already see that here we have different console logs, yellow and green. It says Nodemon, so it looks promising. Okay, if I refresh, I have the same output here, but what should happen is that if I change this file and I save, can you see? It auto-loaded my application. So if I refresh, nice. Here I have the updated application. And one notice, just pretty important, is that here we are using this flag. I went mad on this because on Windows, if you don't use this flag, it doesn't work. And I'm on Windows now. I think that if you go on Mac, on Linux, maybe you don't need this, but you can also leave that. Let's see, everything looks fine. Great. Okay, so for now everything looks fine. The only thing that I didn't wrote was to add to open the VS Code, but okay. Nice. Okay. If you have any question, hey, Chirantan. I hope that I pronounced it that well. Chirantan. Okay, perfect. And now my favorite part, the Docker one. So it says that we should create 4 files at the same level where the package.json is located. So I'm gonna follow these instructions. So let's create a docker-ignore. We create a Docker file. Create a Docker compose YML. And no, what have I done here? Sorry. Docker compose .prod.yml. Okay, so why 2 different Docker compose files? I'll show you, because we will use one Docker compose for development and one Docker compose for production. Let's say production. We are not really in production here, but it's to understand the concepts. So first of all, in the docker-ignore file, we can add these 3 stuff. So node modules, dist, and .git folder. The docker-ignore is similar to git-ignore. So basically, when we will copy files and folders from the context inside the image, this one will be ignored. And this is nice, because I don't want my own node modules inside the Docker image. I want to create the node modules again inside the image. Okay, this is getting already interesting, because here here we use what's called multi-stage builds. So multi-stage builds is something that you can use inside the Docker file to create, of course, multiple builds from just one Docker file. So let's copy this one. So in the Docker file, I should copy this. Okay, and here you can see that we have this base image. I'm using Node 16. You can use also an Alpine image, I think. So we have, this is for both the production and development. And what I'm doing here is, this is something which is related to both this image and this one. Please check this one, prod and dev, because these are targets builds that I use when I create the Docker compose. And of course, we have the commands that we are running to create our image. So we have, for example, for the production, we have the from, the base image. We are running something to inside the image, so we can install this TS node. And in this case, we are just installing all dependencies. We can change this, for example, this npm install to just install development dependencies, the production dependencies. But here the idea is just to set up the environment, and we're not focused on what we're doing inside our production image and development image. So let's start from the docker compose.yml file that we will use for development. Okay, I like this copy feature here. Can you see? Nice. Okay. So this Docker compose file is a file that you can use to define multiple services, so containers. In this case, we have just one container, one image defined. But even in this case, it's useful because you can run this service with just one command. Here. This is the Docker compose prod YML. Here they look similar, but they are not the same. Let's do this. Docker compose prod. Okay, so this is a Docker compose and this is Docker compose prod file. So it says the image used in the second one, which is this one. Let me switch maybe so it's more understandable. Okay, in the second one, it's ready to be pushed to Docker Hub. And the first one is intended just to stay on the development machine. So it was right before. Okay. Okay, so we will push this one to Docker Hub. Here you can see that I've defined an image with my tag and this version. And the most important thing is this one, the target, which here in this case is dev, in this case is prod. This one will go on close all. We will go on this one, production and development. One important thing is that here in the development Docker Compose we have this strange volume. We are not using persistence here, we're not using a database. This volume is just needed for Nodemon to see if we have made something different. So we are just mapping these folders from inside to outside the container. Okay, let's start. How is it going? Now it's been your weekend. Copy. I see something strange. Maybe I need to save. Because I am in the wrong folder. Perfect. So, for example, yeah, to launch this command, we need to be at when the Docker Compose is located. We could also specify some path, but let's see. What are we doing here? So we are building this production. No, this is development image. Let's see. It seems that it's working. Okay, so this is up and running again. Let's go in the index.ts. Oh, nice. If I save here, it rebuilds. Okay. Nice. So we have the hot reload using the Docker container, which is pretty awesome. Now, to stop the container, I've not said this. Yeah, let's follow here what I wrote. Yeah, I made some screenshots. Okay. I should add the part when it says to stop here. Okay. So now, let's run this command. Oh, what else? This is wrong. I found a typo. Nice. This is nice. Let's see here. What is this one? Okay, wrong. But I think that I recapped this everything. Now I'm just changing something because this was wrong. Okay. Is this better? So the font was a bit small, maybe. Sorry for that. Okay. So let's see what happened here, because now I've started the service using the Docker Compose production file. So the service name is the same, but it's the... we could change this. Production. This is the name of the container. And here we have the same result. But now, for example, if we can change this, it doesn't reload because we are not using Nodemon anymore. And you see here, if I refresh, of course, if I stop it now and I create the image from scratch again, this will change. But this is normal because we are creating a build every time if you use the -- build command. So this seems to work already. Let's see. Preview. Nice. So this works already. Great. Amazing. By the way, there is the GitHub repository if you wanna check it. Nice. This is a new format that I'm trying. Perfect. So everything works. Nice. Let me... There should be the GitHub repository. I'll send you some links now. Thank you for coming, by the way. So this is the GitHub repository. And then there is the article. This is the article. Is this correct? No, this one. Perfect. I don't know why my name is orange, but okay. Perfect. Nice. So let's make maybe just a recap of what we did. Okay, so this is to use these 4 technologies. So we create a folder. Here there are all the commands. Just open VS Code, and then we modify the package.json. We add the tsconfig.json file, which is used for Typescript, which add the nodemon.json file, configuration for Nodemon. We create the source folder, we create an index.ts file, we create the server using Express, which is very simple, just one endpoint. We started with Nodemon. This is just without Docker, and then we use Docker containers and images. So we start a Docker file with a multi-stage build. We have 2 Docker different compose files. And you see here that we have the target of the image that we want to build from the Docker file. And then everything should work with just this command. This is the command for the production environment. And this is the one for the development one. Nice. Nice. So if you have any questions about this, also if you want us to see something different, here there are other articles. I like these ideas when you have some icons, the technologies. I've done with Node, SQLite, Postgres and Docker, Nest, Mongoose, MongoDB and Docker, Node, Fastify, which is a different framework, Postgres and Docker again. Perfect. Nice, thank you for stepping by. Hey Jordan. I'm already done with that, to be honest. I've tried this again, just... I need to find the perfect font, please help me. Which is the best size of the font, because maybe it was a bit little. Please help me, if you can. Okay. Can you see like this, like that? So also for next time. And also, can you see the text on the left? Also, if you want to make a question about Docker or about this article, on everything in general, also about the weekend, feel free to ask. Perfect. Compose Docker file. It's pretty simple. From here, it's interesting. One thing that I'd like to do is to add this Nodemon technology and also Docker for the live streams that I'm doing with Stefan Natter. So this is what something that I'd like to do, for example. Perfect. So, I've worked with TypeScript for a couple of years, I think. I've used that with Angular, recently also with Node, but more on the front-end part. I'm not an expert, by the way. Okay, Sandip. Thank you, because I need to find the sides. No. Okay. Perfect. But can you hear also the music in background? I put that, but I don't know if you can hear that. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. So do you like this idea that I do my own articles or not? Thank you. What about you, Jordan? Do you know TypeScript? This has been kind of fast, to be honest. Usually I stream for about 1 hour, something like that. I'm thinking about making maybe a very long live stream, maybe with me coding stuff, if you have some suggestions. This is the best. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you very much. Yeah. I hope you can see the fonts. Bye. Perfect. Oh, I think that I leave for 20 minutes. If you want to ask me something about everything you want, let me show you something I did today. Do you have Docker installed on your machines? Docker run. I've done this just before the live stream. You can try this. Hey Tola, how are you? I think this could be a great way to start. Perfect. So you can try this command. Docker run. By the way, there are 3. I made the typo when I created this one. It's just a weekend. Nice. Everything looks fine. This has been kind of fast, to be honest. Was expecting a little bit longer, but this went pretty well. Yeah. Perfect. Hi Tola, how are you? Have a nice weekend too. Perfect. Thank you. If you have any question here, I'm thinking about creating some courses, some presentations about Docker. I start working on this. I have one next week, another at the end of the month, and then I'm also working on a video that maybe I'll release one day. It took me like 3 or 4 hours to do this. Nice. Perfect. Great. Let's see what. If you want to suggest me what to do next time, I'm thinking about creating CRUD API with Python, for example, something with PHP also. So I like this kind of article. So when you use different technologies, so I think I'll work on something like this. Perfect. Yeah, these usually are the kind of technical articles that I like. There are also some other stuff, but yeah. So that's it for today. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much for stepping by. I wish you a great weekend. Yeah. Perfect. It looks great. Perfect. Bye bye.